Hi everyone, I'm Narayan and my colleague Sanjeevi here, and we both have just now returned from Hannover Messe, one of the largest exhibitions for industrial automation and industrial software, and we are here to share our experiences, our thoughts, what we saw, whom we interacted with. So a quick introduction, my name is Narayan Gokhale, and I'm the Vice President and Principal Analyst at QKS Group. Sanjeevi? Introduction.
Hello everyone, hi. My name is Sanjeevi Ramachandran, and what an experience it was in Hannover Messe. Of course, the weather was not too friendly. We had our own challenges having traveled there from the western part of India, but then So I work as Associate Vice President and I lead the Enterprise Applications domain for QKS Group from the research, consulting and advisory perspective.
Thanks.
And over to you, sir.
Yeah, okay. So with these introductions, so Hannover Messe this year, like any other year, recorded nearly 110,000 visitors. So it's a huge footfall. And one of the partner countries this time was Brazil. And so there were hoardings all over the place as partner country as well. And of course, being a very large, German exhibition, the German footprint was obviously the largest over there, followed by a lot of Chinese companies. So if you have to take country by count, Germany came first, then came China, and then came rest of the countries. Yeah, as you know, Germany is a pioneer in manufacturing and Industry 4.0, so their presence was obviously very, very much there. And I think in terms of number of exhibitors, anywhere between 2,700 to 3,000 exhibitors were there, spread over a large area. Me and Sanjeevi had a hard time walking from one hall to other, keeping up with their appointments and meeting with different people. So, Sanjeevi, did you complete 10,000 steps every day?
I was literally thinking about that. I was about to say those 3 days
4 days.
Covered. 4 days we have covered enough number of steps for at least 10 days.
10,000 steps.
10,000 steps per day.
More than that.
For 10 days. So that has been covered in 4 days. What an experience. I mean, we had seen a range of stalls. You could see small, medium and large businesses having their stalls there, and variety of innovations. I'm saying variety of innovations. It was coming from all walks of life. You look at physical AI, you look at IoT, you look at ET, you look at brands like Siemens or a Microsoft, or other brands like a Palantech or somebody like Athena Tech. Right? I mean, it's from small, medium, larger, extremely large enterprises, and the best part was that we were able to spend quite an amount of time in each of these stalls. I mean, you would be able to explain it better.
We would have more time, we would have seen, but I think as a research firm, as what we saw, we just kind of like to break it down mainly maybe into 3 parts just for keeping this conversation live and making it more interactive. So first and foremost, as you would expect, is like, AI moving from hype into industrial reality.
Exactly.
So what AI started with, what is called as typically a traditional AI or a predictive AI and generative AI. So now that is properly baked in or what Sanjeevi likes to call it as embedded into all the products or platforms, be it MES, IoT platforms, PLM, so on and so forth. So that is no longer into any experimentation phase. It's very much part and parcel now of the features that is being rolled out. Then comes something agentic AI. That is where we are seeing that at some places it's starting, some places it started to evolution into a little more mature phase. But that is something we saw across the board, and in terms of making either engineering operations or actual manufacturing operations autonomous. Even simple things like having your BOM that is being designed for your production, for your manufacturing of products. There, how agentic AI is helping them, in terms of BOM optimization to autonomous operations. So that is something which is, you can say, into emerging or fast evolving phase. And something in early stages which we saw is what is being described as physical AI, where AI is going to be embedded right into devices. So lot of humanoid robots, lot of robotic systems at displays at various times. We wish we could have had some time to actually go and look up them. We're actually seeing, a BMW or an Audi car being inspected by a humanoid and kind of things. So your take on this first, a part of what we saw, what we heard, what we interacted?
So frankly, the entire expo itself has given a confidence that the manufacturing sector is moving from being a strategy to execution in itself. That's one part of it. The other one is in terms of AI itself. I've always been optimistic about AI as a strategy, where I was never able to confidently say that yes, we have moved into realistic phase, where AI has now gotten into being utilized rather than being there stagnant as a strategy. This experience at Hannover Messe, we have clearly seen that AI has been put into action across multiple walks of life, whether it is physical AI or whether it is other forms of, whether it is agentic AI or whether it is the organizations that are leveraging AI to create innovations and to bring those innovations into market, and innovations to not only stay as innovations but as actionables. And it was very heartening to see that companies are competing at their own level from the AI perspective, right? The small businesses have their own level of AI that is going to make a small company become large. And large companies were leveraging AI in a way that they are becoming larger. And larger companies are actually becoming even bigger enterprises by having AI at their core. It was AI everywhere.
Yes.
It was AI everywhere.
Correct. That's right. So, but the second observation that we had is, even though it was about the data reality check, and this is something which Sanjeevi is really fond of talking. So even though the AI ambition was high, the data foundation or the data readiness was low. And so what we are seeing is that this particular layer, that for example, if you take IoT, which was always about connectivity. So we're now moving away from a connectivity paradigm into an intelligence paradigm. And until you have a very sound data foundation, you can't have a good AI. And especially when we are talking about operations technology or engineering technology, data has always resided in silos. Most importantly, the data was always there in some historian or somewhere in a SCADA tag, but there was no contextualization. Right. So without contextualization, again, that data there. So talking about contextualization, talking about ontologies, talking about semantics is something we heard and saw quite a lot in a lot of different booths, different interactions we had with various people. So I think everyone is realizing, even a very classical foundation such as an OPC foundation, which has been there for years for industrial automation, connectivity issues. They are now getting very much active, into this particular field, trying to democratize data, trying to contextualize data, and they're working with companies like Microsoft in order to make the data inoperable, make it standardized, make it across all protocols. And it was very heartening to see even the cross work that different consortiums like OPC Foundation, like VDMA, and with larger companies like AWS and Microsoft are doing, so that then this industrial data is really put to use. So this was a very large story about data, that without data there is no AI. Your take, Sanjeevi?
Absolutely, completely with you, sir. Completely with you. I do not have even a single point to add to what you just said. But we also approached all these vendors and the end customers we met there from a different direction as well. Okay, AI has now moved into the execution phase. What happens to adoption? So how is the transformation going to happen at the end user's end? Which is when, yes, we did talk from the consulting perspective, but then we didn't charge them for that. But yeah, from the consulting perspective, we did have larger discussions with vendors and end users in terms of how are you going to have your customers adopt? How are you going to increase the user adoption when it comes to AI? Your innovation is great, but then yes, you will implement it in much better way because it has evolved over many years. But then, unless there is a good amount of user adoption, your implementation will remain implementation. It will never become transformation, which is where we gave them certain ideas from the framework that we have defined in QKS for AI transformation readiness assessment, as well as for information security assessment readiness framework, as well as for GRC from the compliance perspective, and it was received very well. In fact, we were surprised to see that they were surprised that they did not look at this angle.
And also another surprise was that we felt that probably this would resonate more with end users, but we were pleasantly surprised that vendors were equally keen and they were also wanting to adopt, and probably with vendors and us and with end users, we can kind of help the AI adoption to really become a reality than just staying in pilots. So that was another important thing that we kind of learned talking to different vendors.
And Narayan sir, you remember this sales guy telling us after the conversation that now this gives me an additional USP to sell, because when I go to the customer, I'll tell them that yes, we are going to implement AI, but before that, we will use a framework to analyze the end user's maturity level in terms of their AI adoption, and our implementation and change management will be built around it. So which means that end user becomes more successful much faster. The stickiness between the vendor and the end user increases. Of course, that's going to lead to a lot of cross-selling, upselling, extended contracts, renewed contracts and all that. But then, yes, like you said, sir, it was, frankly, I didn't expect that the vendors are going to receive it so well. They were asking us, can you work with our end customers and from this AI maturity assessment perspective? So it was very well received.
And the third bucket, most importantly, is like the evolution of this so-called new industrial stack, or we would like to call it as intelligent industrial stack. So what you just saw on the AI layer and on the data foundation layer, it is now evolving into a completely intelligent layer. We just talk about the data, which is not in isolation, it is contextualized, there is ontology to it, there is semantics spread over it, and most important thing which we also saw, that this particular so-called new stack is not going to be by one vendor. In many cases, it's an ecosystem play.
Right.
Every major vendor had lot of ecosystem partners also displaying. Some of them built solutions like you mentioned, which are sitting on the top of an MES platform, or somebody who were helping them with the data foundation. So this new stack is not only a technology stack, it's more than that, as I just explained, and that is where we will see this particular industry leading into.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Because we actually saw these multiple vendors coming together, say with an organization like Microsoft or Siemens or SAP and all of that, and coming across together as the power of being one.
Yes.
So I do not want to get into the philosophical part of it. So, but then we could see a unified or a united front being put up by these organizations, disparate organizations coming together to make the end user successful. So, which was good, and other best part was in the middle of all of this busy schedule, I think Narayan sir was able to meet at least 36 plus organizations and analyst relations, so which clearly shows that the organizations give due importance to the sentiments that are present in the market and being successfully captured by organizations like ours, QKS group. And yes, we were able to talk to a lot of analyst relations. Credit goes to Narayan sir for about 36 analyst relations, about 30 minutes each minimum. Scheduled for 30 minutes, it goes till 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 1 hour. And they were in multiple different halls, and the halls were only 200 meters minimum away from each other, and it was only 4 degrees. So, so it was a great experience.
Correct.
Good one.
Yeah, and so I think being a German, event, it was no surprise that Siemens and SAP had one of the largest booths, and they had Siemens, for example, had something which is called as digital CPG booth, where the entire how the entire digital consumer product goods are getting manufactured, to an innovation hub, kind of glimpse into what is going to happen in future. Similarly, with SAP is all digital supply chain, digital manufacturing getting closely integrated, and what's new on the horizon. And very important again, booths, large pavilions by companies like Microsoft and AWS, clearly highlighting their emphasis not only in Industry 4.0 but Industry 5.0 as is being described. So overall, it was a great experience. Finally seeing is believing when you actually see what vendors are doing, and it was a great opportunity for all stakeholders, including end users, to interact and meet. And we have tried to capture this in, as Sanjeevi sir was saying, in our LinkedIn posts and blogs, and we hope that as analysts also it gives us insights, and we are also able to provide more insights and recommendations to other stakeholders. So thank you very much, and look forward to more such interactions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.